So next on our list, the third slot is actually a panel between two gentlemen who are going to debate about exploring Japan's entrepreneurial ecosystem. Anybody thinking about scaling to Japan or to Asia?
Woo!
Woo woo! Okay, I'm really sorry if I'm going to mess your names. Yosuke Kurosawa, and Q Harrison Terry from Mark Cuban Companies will join us.
Leave your stuff.
Yosuke is the innovative director of the Japan Facts Organization, growing up in Japan and enriched by academic pursuits in Canada. His deep connection to his heritage and his entrepreneurial spirit shine through his work. His creative integration of chat story elements makes his educational videos not only informative but also entertaining. These unique storytelling abilities and technological expertise make him a perfect fit for Techsylvania 2024. He's joined by Q Harrison Terry, a growth marketer at Mark Cuban Companies and also an investor in Japan ecosystem. In his role, he advises and assists portfolio companies with their marketing strategies and objectives. His entrepreneurial ventures include co-founding a futuristic media platform, a blockchain-powered digital art marketplace, and an advertising agency specializing in marketing to millennials. That's impressive. Please join me in welcoming both of them to the stage.
All right. A lot of energy, a lot of folks in here today. So, how many people are familiar with Japan in general? Like, you like anime, you know about manga, all that good stuff. Just throw some hands up. Okay, all right. Anybody know any Japanese?
Konnichiwa, everyone.
Konnichiwa. Ohayo gozaimasu. Yosuke Kurosawa.
Yes.
Thank you for coming all the way to Romania. How do you like it so far?
Oh, I love it. This is my first time in Europe, and I feel short.
You feel short? Really?
Yeah.
All right, all right. All right, well, if you're towering over Yosuke, just give him a pat on the back. Tell him he's not too short. Now, dude, you are an entrepreneur. You take a lot of big bets. One of the first big bets in your career was basically saying, I'm going to quit my job and just become an entrepreneur. And how many people in here have felt that way? Like you've been in a situation where, okay, I see some people in the back that are being honest. Everybody loves their job in the room? Everybody? Oh, that's beautiful. I like Romania. Romania, you guys are happy. All right, well, Yosuke, tell me a bit about like what you were doing before you became an entrepreneur.
So I mean, as expected, as a Japanese person, I entered a 9-to-6 job in my 20s, and I was working Monday to Friday. And to be honest, I didn't have a best boss. They were always kind of mean to the younger employees, and I mean, this is not for all the cases, but at the end I wanted to quit. Yes.
And so in Japan, one of the things that's unique about this is the culture of honor is very much ingrained in the ecosystem. So when I first started studying Japan, what I was shocked is there's a very much a lack of entrepreneurship. It's not like you find a lot of entrepreneurs that want to start companies, that are looking for capital. It's actually pretty rough. And so to see Yosuke start a media company in Japan, I was just like mesmerized. But one of the things that he talked about is he was like, yo, I hated my boss, and the job kind of sucked. And if I quit this job, I'm going to be looked down upon. And so what he ended up doing is he starts driving for Uber?
Food delivery, yes.
So food delivery.
Yeah, just like I see some guys food deliveries in this town too. Yeah.
Yeah. So he starts a food delivery, just starts a gig app, and then buys a camera and starts documenting different parts of Japan. And so you taught yourself how to use a camera, right?
Yes, I picked up my camera at the age of maybe 30, 32. Then I slowly picked up how to edit videos, how to shoot portrait photography. Yes.
So he teaches himself how to take photos, 32 years old, reinventing his career, delivering food, and he starts a company. And in Japan, again, the crazy part here is most entrepreneurs, they're just non-existent. It's not that people have a desire, because to have a desire, it almost means you're gonna ostracize yourself from the group. And when you do that, you could potentially remove yourself from just society at large. And so when he does this, what was unique is he actually goes out of Japan. And so you start to look at getting a clientele in Korea and where else?
Mostly I have American clients, some from Europe, lots of Korean friends because I speak Korean, which is Korean and Japanese language is pretty similar. Yes.
And so what was unique about that is I was just like, yo, this is cool. I'm seeing Japanese entrepreneurship, and why this resonates with me a little bit is very, very early in my career at Mark Cuban Companies, I actually was asked by the Japanese government to come visit and talk to them about entrepreneurship. And so I met with the Fortune 500 equivalent CEOs in Japan, and had a lot of discussions about what the future of entrepreneurship looked like in that country. And so this is in 2018. And a lot of the discussions that were taking place were, how do we get people to take the jump, take the leap? And they ended up making some inroads. There's some new programs. I'll be talking about that tomorrow in my talk. But Yosuke is unique in the sense that he did it on his own. You didn't raise any money.
No.
You can afford your lifestyle now. You don't have to deliver food anymore, right?
Yes, thankfully. Yes.
And you figured out how to I guess brand yourself and make a market within a country where selling yourself is not normal. Tell me a bit about some of those challenges. How did you go about selling your services?
So selling my services online, I spent some money promoting my posts on my Instagram, putting my work on several traveling websites, and yes, I mean you gotta do yourself. Yes, I mean yeah.
Very cool. And so when I think about entrepreneurship as it relates to an Eastern European audience, oftentimes you might be mid-career and you might want to try something new, try something different. It's not too much different than your fellow Japanese person here, Yosuke. And what's unique about that is in his journey, I think that there's a few lessons we all can learn. One, it's never too late. Two, it's the ability to learn something new. You went from, what did you go? You went from finance to media?
Import and export, yes.
Import, export to media.
That's right. Yes.
Did you feel like you were ill-equipped or not ready to do that?
I wasn't ready, no.
You weren't? And so how did you what did you tell your parents? What did you tell people? The pressures that an entrepreneur goes through, how did you deal with that? Because in Japan, it's very isolating.
My parents are not that kind of putting pressure too much.
Okay.
I have a younger brother. He has more stable job, so.
So they were just Yosuke's gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
That's cool. When it comes to thinking about raising money, for your company, is that something that's normal in Japan, or how does that ecosystem work? Do you get a KK and then a KK is the company equivalent in Japan. But like, you're a solopreneur, you start a company, like, what's the process?
So I haven't got any investment myself.
Yeah.
But as long as I know, if you're like a freelancer or a young business owner, it's really hard to get like a house loan and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to get a credit card also. Yes.
If you don't have a bank account.
If you're a freelancer.
Or
yes.
if you're a freelancer.
Yes,
so it's not recognized, like, so starting a business, like just a startup is not recognized in Japan?
Not yet, yes, not yet.
That's crazy. So you have to like really go out of your way to like, so how did you get banked?
You have to have savings, yes.
Oh, you have to have a savings?
Yes, yes.
Wow. So yeah, fundraising is still very a new concept, which is wild because Japan, like when you think about their economy, it's the third largest GDP in the world. And you know, the question that I have there is like, how are they so like ill-prepared for entrepreneurship, especially as the population starts to age? And so when I think about it as a developer, as an entrepreneur, the opportunity I see that's very prescient is one, being able to connect with some of the entrepreneurs like Yosuke that exist in the country. They've already got a feel for what it takes to succeed there. But secondly, they still need a lot of the development services that you would find in any other ecosystem. So when you think about fintech, like what was just on the stage here, they still need that in Japan, very much so. Don't get it twisted. They still need development and developers. Just because you're in Japan doesn't mean that you have the greatest tech talent. There's a lot of great talent out there, but still, Yosuke, he has to put together a website. He has to figure out, you know, how to get in front of customers. He's got customers coming from London, from Europe, and all over to take part in his services there, which are really cool. And I'll be showing a glimpse of that tomorrow in my talk on the main stage. But when I think about it, it's those opportunities that allow you even to get some of your first footholds, because a lot of entrepreneurs I see here in Eastern European countries, they're going after the big fish, the same people that everybody are going after. When it's like across the pond over on the east, you can go to Japan, you can still get some pretty cool clients, whether it be in the media sector or it be in the manufacturing sector. And as long as you're willing to put a little bit of time and energy into learning the culture and just being adaptable, you can actually come back with some pretty big wins. I mean, that's how me and Yosuke even met. You remember the first time I found you on the internet?
Yes, vividly,
yeah.
yes.
It was crazy, right? I just like booked your services and I was like, hey man, what's up?
Yes, I mean, yeah, but we had some good photos, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
And it was like, I just booked the services and I was just like, hey, like tell me more about what you're doing. And it was that simple that we were able to forge a relationship. And that's led to us starting to partner on the Japan Facts organization. So I'm putting some capital into that from the investment side and looking to grow not only my understanding of the Japanese market overall, but also starting to get a foothold into like what's happening in that scene. I do want to open up the last few minutes here for some questions. Otherwise, I think, yeah, what's up? One second, I think I got a mic for you.
Hey, thank you so much. I have a question to you. What would be your advice and what's the easiest and best way to establish relationships, partnerships with Japanese companies? Like some advice from you.
Companies, I think you need to have like a good website, and if you have followings in your country, if you're recognized, then there will be, or find a similar size companies in Japan, and they will be happy to do something with you, I think, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. So my question is, I know at times it must have been very difficult to push through, and you have maybe dealt with failure. What pushed you forward to continue?
What motivated you to keep going?
I mean, I have just one motivation. I don't want to go back to office. Yes, that's it.
I see. Thank you very much.
Yes. Can you please tell us how is 2024 for the startups in Japan? What has changed? What you appreciate? Do you feel these waves of, there are actually two questions, this wave of AI?
Yeah, so
First, what changed? And second, what is the wave that you are feeling there?
So personally, I feel pretty good on the culture of startups in Japan. The government's made some pretty big announcements. They're looking to have more unicorns based in their country by the end of this decade. So obviously there's a lot of internal investment. However, the culture to start a company has to change with the actual people. So that's the thing that is polarizing at the moment. There's not a lot of actual Japanese people that are starting companies. And so when they do start, they do need a lot of support, not only internally, but externally. And I think groups like ours here in the Western countries, whether it be Europe or even America, we can actually play a big role into that. I think the next thing, to answer your question around AI, I think Japan's one of the biggest places on the planet for AI readiness. When you look at the aging population, you know, the average age in Japan is 55 years old. So that's a young person largely in Japan. And Yosuke, you can probably speak to that. Like a 50-year-old is quite considered young in Japan.
Oh yes, about one third of population is over 60 now. Yes.
1/3 of the population is over 60 years old. So when you think about the need for AI and the ability to adopt it, that is ever present right now. And a lot of the regulation is actually favorable to AI companies. And that's why you've seen Sam Altman and OpenAI, their first office internationally was actually in Tokyo. And they did that. And then you've also got Sakana AI, which is based in the country, and they're like the deep mind of Tokyo. So there's a lot of application there, but I think the thing that has to be unearthed is, you know, Japan's not a country that exports their knowledge. They actually do a pretty horrible job at that, so you have to kind of go to them first, and then after you broker that relationship, you actually can make some exciting and incredible things happen. So I think the investment is required on both ends. Any other questions? What's up?
Thank you. Hello, my name is Marius from Cube Digital, and I'm curious, where did you see the need of AI in your businesses?
So with Japan Facts, this is an interesting question. So what they actually use AI for is teaching people Japanese. So they garner your attention through interesting facts about Japan. So 1/3 of the population is over the age of 60, which is a crazy fact. Like when you start to think about that, that means in 10 years, Alzheimer's is going to be a really big deal, right? That's going to be more popular in Japan than cancer. And you can just cascade on that. The different types of culture related to cars, green tea, exports, all that. So you have all this fascinating information that just kind of sits at the forefront. But through that, you can captivate people and have them learn the language. And so that what they found is using AI tutors, they call them Nihongo GPT. What they do is they then take the subject you're interested in. So if you're interested in tea and you want to learn Japanese through green tea, you can get a custom lesson plan developed right from that, and they're tracking your activity through Japan Facts.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Or you want me to go back to the Q&A? Want me to tell you interesting facts? Any anime people in here? Anybody like anime?
I can't remember, but I think Inuyasha. I rewatched it just recently. Inuyasha?
Inuyasha, yeah, the demon anime?
Yeah.
Yeah, Inuyasha is all one. Yes.
You liked it?
About fighting the ghosts.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I think you go.
So one of the things that I think a lot of brands can do here is you can also license a lot of the anime cultural things that you know and like. Those brand deals aren't too hard to partner with. And so if you have a company and you're in the CPG space or you're in a space where you think having that edge or likeness is good, That's something that I would explore, and I'm seeing a lot of companies in North America do that. And it's working out well because it's IP that already has a fondness for it and an affinity. And when that is intermixed with whatever you're doing on top of it, you actually seem to see some really nice pairings. Even yesterday, take for example, there was a U.S. Olympic qualifying event, and one of the main runners actually pulled out a Yu-Gi-Oh card from his tracksuit, and he showed it to the world before he ran the race. And you know, everybody was like, "What WTF?" And when they got to it, they were like, "Wow, this is cool." And that's Japanese IP having an impact on a global scale. And so, thinking about marketing from that angle, there's a lot of assets that can be leveraged, and it's much easier than doing some crazy marketing campaign elsewhere. Any other questions? Yosuke, anything you want to say? I mean, you're all the way in Romania. What do you think about Romanian culture so far? You've had the food, you've seen like the buildings. What's the differences between Europe and Japan?
Well, I mean, yes, I always, like I told him earlier, I always complaining about my life in Tokyo because of everything is packed. There's so many people everywhere. You have to kind of push people to get into the train, push people to get out. Here there's so much more space, but I do miss Japanese rice. I'm not a big bread. I'm trying to avoid gluten. So yes, I miss my rice. Yes.
How many people here are from Romania? How many people here are familiar with Cluj? So what's the best place for Yosuke to get some Japanese rice? Is there a Japanese restaurant in Cluj? Tokyo restaurant? All right, we got to take Yosuke to Tokyo restaurant. That's going to be on the list. We got to get this man some Japanese rice. No, that's awesome. All right, well, any last words, man? About entrepreneurship in Japan? We got 1 minute.
I mean, you have to see. I mean, you have to go there and see what it's like first. I think things are different, so I think you should try Japan, Korea, and maybe China to see what ages look like. Then, if you go to those 3 countries, you kind of get idea how we act, how we behave, how we think, maybe, yes. Try to connect with locals if you can, yes.
That's awesome. Well, thank you all for coming. It's been a great time. I hope to see you more throughout the Tech Slovenia experience.